On this episode of Gambler Spec, we're making last minute preparations for the Utah Gambler Fall Fambler. It's coming up in 3 days, so let's get started. All right, so a few things we've got on the agenda here to try to get done before Thursday. Today's Monday. Number one, I got to try to get this windshield wiper cowl from the junkyard so I can get my wipers back in order. So we gotta head to the junkyard at some point, see if we can pick one of those up. We've still got some rubbing issues here behind this passenger tire and just a little bit on the driver's side. So we'll have to take care of that because we are putting on our brand new tires. Now, the cool part about these tires, I actually won them as part of the spring Utah Gambler 500 event. Super cool of General to sponsor that event. They gave away a brand new set of any size tires. So I got the General Grabber X3s. I got a set of 33 by 1250 20s and then a set of 37 1350 20s to go in the rear. So we'll take these in, get them mounted up. And then I picked these up at a yard sale for a total of $7. So I think what we're gonna do is see if we can't get those cleaned up a little bit and replace on these, which have definitely served their purpose. You can see that driver's side's looking pretty terrible. So I think that's what we'll do. We'll get going on this today. I'm gonna try to get these tires loaded up on the back of the TAZR so I can take it down and get them mounted up. Got the tires all mounted up yesterday. They're looking good. Tons and tons of tread on these. Pretty excited about it. They look really good. They definitely are a little bigger, whether it's the size the General has compared to the Toyos or whether it's just the big fat knobs these tires have. It's definitely got my clearances a little tighter. I started rubbing in here with these bigger tires yesterday, so we'll have to take a look at that at some point here before I leave. And then I did get the cowl from the junkyard yesterday, trimmed off just this extra, there's a couple extra little tabs that stick off the front, trim those off, put it back in place. I also bought some new wipers. The springs on mine were pretty hashed, so they would hardly press against the windshield at all. And then got some new blades. So once I got the cowl installed, came back to my universal washer fluid reservoir, plumbed everything in, and we are working. So yesterday was the first time I've had working wipers and fluid since I've had the thing. So that's going to be super nice to have. So we got the wiper situation taken care of. We got the tires taken care of. The next thing is going to be these seats. I took the bases off so I could kind of take a look at how this is going to mount. Next thing I'm going to need to do is pull these harnesses out as well as take the seats out and see if I can make an adapter to get these T-Rex seats to work with the Crown Vic sliders that I already have in place. So this is what I got mocked up here. I got a couple pieces of plate steel going across that existing, the original Crown Vic frame for the sliders. So just weld a couple pieces on there for now, just tacked. Make sure this is gonna work. You know, something about like that. And then the seat base actually slides in around this piece here. So that should set in there fine. I don't really want to weld everything down because I'm sure I'll be changing these seats out at some point in the future. So what I'll do is take this whole base out, flip it upside down, drill through the holes, put in some bolts, and then once I've got some bolts in there, I'll cut these tacks off and then I'll weld the frame onto this. So this will all become one piece, but it'll just be held in by 4 bolts. That way you can still take that part out and then the original sliders remains unchanged so that I could always, you know, do something different in the future. Well, that didn't go as expected. I tried to figure out the bolting situation and realized I was wasting just a ton of time to figure out how to bolt it, and then it was only going to be attached in like a very far edge of the plate, and I don't know. I just decided it's probably faster, even when I take this off, to just grind a few welds off than to try to get back under there to those bolts, plus they interfere with the slider. Whatever. I got no time, so got a few welds to hold those plates on, and then a few more welds to hold the frame on. All we got to do now is slap some black paint on this bad boy, and I think we're ready to go try it out. I'll make sure everything's okay, and then we'll start on the other side doing the exact same thing. So I took the car out to run some errands on a little test drive to try the seat out. What's interesting is, to me, it doesn't seem like it's much different than this one. I mean, it's a little different shape, obviously. It seems like it doesn't lean back quite as much. But when you sit in the seat, your head is, I mean, like my eye level felt like it was at the bottom of the visor, where in this seat, maybe it's just, it doesn't have as much support here in the seat base. I don't know. But these seats, I always felt like I was really low. This seat, I felt like my head was sticking out the top. I don't know from the outside that it looked that extreme, but it definitely felt that way. It was easier to drive. I felt like, navigating and seeing around the front of the car was easier. But I don't have time to change it anyway. We're going to leave it for now. Could be that I'm just used to these other ones that are like lean back and low and well used. So maybe when the butt of this one wears in a little bit, it'll be about right. But I'm going to take this seat out next and duplicate what I did on that side, and we'll get this second seat installed. So, same story, different side. Got the plates cut, got them tacked into place. Now we'll bring this frame in here, get it set up, leveled, straightened, and then we'll tack that in place. And then we'll just make sure it moves around, and then we'll get it final welded in. All right, so we got the seat all installed. Just threw some paint here on some of the spots that had worn through. I think this is about as far as it's going to go till we go to Utah, and then I think we'll break out some cleaner, see if we can clean off this seat and the dash, stuff like that. Just make it look a little better for the Utah Gambler 500 Fall Fambler. So that's coming up here in a couple days. So I think that's about it for me on this while we're here in New Mexico. And then I think when we pick back up in Utah, there's a couple things I want to try. So I bought this upholstery spray paint, and I want to try to fix some of this fading that I've got on my harness pads. So I'm going to give that a try when we get to Utah, I think. Or maybe if I have some time tomorrow. We're leaving, not sure what time, but might have enough time to throw a coat on that. I'd like to just see if it makes it any better. I mean, even if it lasts for a month or two, I think it'll be worth it. You can always just recoat it. So that's it for now. We'll come back and get that done, and then we got a few other surprises that are waiting in Amazon boxes for us when we get there. All right, we're out here at the Gambler. We got some last minute work done at my sister's house on the TAZR, and now we spent the last 8 or 9 hours picking up garbage. Let me show you what we got. Watch out, bud. All right, there's our proof. We got the mattress on the top. We got the barrels full of junk. This is everything we got in my brother's side-by-side.
Tires.
Tons of garbage. We got stuff on the top.
Beer bottles.
We got garbage bags in there. We got lawn chairs. A little bit of everything. So we're gonna unload here in the dumpster they provided for us. Well, we ended up getting to my sister's house and doing all the work on the car, and we really didn't have a ton of time, so I really had to try to knock as much of this out as I could. I had a few little surprises I was gonna try to get done on the TAZR, and we were able to get all the stuff done that we wanted, but I didn't get anything on video. So I'll show you what we got going here. Everything I got done at my sister's house. So you can see we added the whips to the back. Super fun. These are 5-foot tall LED whips, and we got the Sons of Smoky flag rocking on here, but we broke our zip tie at the bottom. But then we also added 10 of the underbody, I think they're called like rock lights. So we got 5 on each side, and then we also added a Bluetooth speaker here to the middle. Oh, it's not plugged in. There you go. So we got the Bluetooth speaker there, so we have some tunes, and then the whips, super fun, lots of different color options, and then same thing on the underglow, lets you change colors, it'll rotate, do whatever you want. So just wanted to do something a little bit fun for the kids while we're here. We've had a good time so far. Tomorrow, all that we got left is the car show in the morning, and then we'll do some awards, and then we'll pack up and get out of here. But that's it for me tonight. We'll see ya. And we're back. Got home yesterday from the Gambler. It was a ton of fun. Kids had a good time, I think, for the most part. I think driving dirt roads for 9 hours is a lot for anybody, especially if you're 9 or 14 years old. That's a lot to take on. But they had a good time. We cleaned up a lot of trash, so we could feel good about that. The car show went well. Let me show you our award here. So we won the fastest looking car at the Fall Family Utah 500 Gambler. That goes now with our much coveted Beauty Queen trophy from the Spring Gambler. It was a good time. Kids were really happy. They thought it was pretty cool to win an award and grab the trophy. So that was a lot of fun. Special thanks to Jesse and all those who put in time to prepare for the Fall Family. It was a lot of fun, and we had a good time. A couple things to report on the TAZR. The lights were a hit. Kids loved it. Had a lot of fun. The tires were amazing. Definitely the roughest course we've ever taken on a Gambler this time. And we kept up with my brother side by side on the rough stuff. Never got stuck. So we did have a little bit of rubbing when things got crazy. But luckily Dustin was able to throw some air in the airbags at times we needed it. And we never rubbed underneath. So we had plenty of ground clearance. But yeah, tires were great. I guarantee we wouldn't have done as well with the old open countries that I had before. So I was super happy that I had these for the Gambler. Only thing that we had that went wrong really was the lower shock mounts on these. The nuts came loose with all the vibration. They didn't fall all the way out, so we were able to just tighten them and keep going, and I checked them now, and they feel tight. Probably end up putting a lock nut on that, though, in the future to keep it from happening. The one thing that we are still going to do that I haven't done yet is get out the fabric paint and see if we can't fix this. So that's what I'm going to work on today. You can see the car is filthy, so I'm going to take these seat belts off, these harnesses, take them off, and then back the car out, blow it off, pressure wash, see if we can get some of this mud off, and then we'll see if we can't make these seat belts look a little bit better. All right, so we got all the harnesses removed and dusted them off, just hit them with some air, and then masked off the buckles and the little red strap that you use to tighten, stuff like that. I'm gonna hiding these other buckles underneath the wood. And then what I'll do is I will take some of this fabric spray paint. Found this at Hobby Lobby. Tulip Color Shot upholstery spray paint. Says it's black. So we'll shake this up really well and then throw a coat on here and just see how it comes out. All right, so we got 2 coats on there. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna let that dry for a little while and get out the pressure washer, clean off some of this mud. Once this dries, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes or so, once I get my carb out done, I'll come back in, flip it over, and then try the other side. So the car's out in the sun, drying off. It's probably been 15 minutes. And paint feels pretty dry, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip it over. You can see the difference, pretty significant. I didn't go super heavy on the underside because really you're not gonna see it that much, but it did cover really well. So I'm gonna flip these all over and then we'll put a coat on the front side. All right, so the front side, we've got 2 light coats on there, and I think it came out pretty good. If it dries well, we'll pull this masking tape off and then see what we got. I think I'll probably let this dry 15-20 minutes so that it has a chance. I probably used 80%, 90% of the can maybe. So that's about how much you get. That's two coats on each side. Got me 1 can of spray paint, and I think the can was like $8.99. All right, so here's the final result. You can see much, much nicer. I do think I could have sprayed a little bit further up on some of these straps, and maybe I'll do that again later. The one thing you're always wondering about with fabric spray paint is the feel, and it definitely feels a little bit stiffer than it did before I painted. But I don't think it's bad. I mean, it's really, I think over time it's going to get softer and softer. It won't even be noticeable. We'll see how this holds up to the sun. That's going to be the true test to see how quickly this fades back to gray. But really, for $9, I mean, that's going to be worth it. If it lasts me a few months, I don't mind doing that, 3 months from now again to get it looking good. But that's going to do it for me on this episode of Gambler Spec. Appreciate you watching.